Hello and welcome to the Hold All Tickets World Pool Preview for Cox Plate Day. I'm Alex Donnelly, as always, joined by James Lamb. Lammy, we're going to do something a little bit different today to celebrate Australia's great race.
What are we doing?
We're going through a runner-by-runner for the Cox Plate, but we're also going to get a couple of other bets on the day from you as well. But I think for such a good race, for such a race that captures national attention and worldwide attention, I think going deep dive onto every horse in the race and looking at a few replays is the way to go. And of course, finding a couple of winners along the way as well.
I'm glad it's not a capacity field then.
Yes, having only, the 9 runners this weekend works. But of course, we are brought to you by the World Pool here on the Hold All Tickets Preview. Of course, bet with the world with the Hong Kong Jockey Club. This weekend at Moonee Valley, it is a full card of betting action for the World Pool punters. Of course, we are hot on the heels of a massive weekend last weekend across Randwick, Caulfield and Ascot in the UK. We broke all records last Saturday with the Everest Lammy with Car Ying rising. There was over 16.5 million Australian wagered on the Everest, which broke the race record for the World Pool, which was at about 12.9 million prior.
Well, they'll definitely be hoping that Car Ying comes back to defend his title next year.
He absolutely will be. Now, Cox Plate this weekend, it is race number 10 at Moonee Valley. Now, there is some rain about in Melbourne today. We are recording this on Wednesday. We've had some pretty heavy downpours. Hoping it dries up because we have Friday night racing at the Valley and then it's going to be race 10 on Cox Plate Day. So track conditions, a little bit of a concern a couple of days out.
It does look like the showers are going to ease though. So I think a soft 5 is probably worst case scenario. Yep. Hopefully, yeah, as you mentioned, hopefully the track doesn't chop up too much from Friday night.
Yeah, no rain on the day, I think, is the key. But let's get into it. Let's have a look at this Cox Plate. Of course, just a small but select field of 9 runners here. The speed map up on your screens right now. And there doesn't look to be a lot of pace. There's a lot of horses who will want to get into a spot, but there's no rushing here. Globe looks your obvious leader. The 3-year-old nepotism usually settles back. He has to go forward with 49.5 kilos.
I know you say that, but he's never settled in the first half of the field in any of his career starts to date. So he'll need to jump well and then be really bustled to find a position in the first 3. But yeah, as you mentioned, Globe gets a soft lead again, as we've seen in many of these weight for age contests this spring, small fields. Leader tends to dictate, but I don't think we'll see too many surprises. Treasure the moment behind the leader. Attrition might be a little bit closer than we've seen previously just from barrier 2, but yeah, it looks a fairly straightforward speed map. We might see an early move from Antino.
I just go back to Tuesday morning. Aliana's owners had the option of choosing gate 1 and they chose barrier 8, which just seems mind-boggling to me.
It means that she pretty much has to run past all her key rivals, which is going to be tough.
Yeah, barrier 1, she could have sat a little bit closer. And, Huey Bowman, who's on board, it worked for Winx, what was it, about 10 years ago now when she won her first one? So, don't know what they were thinking, but anyway, that's why I don't own horses anymore, I guess. But let's take a look at some of the key replays here. We'll take a look at 3 replays leading in, the first of which being the Turnbull Stakes, where you do see Antino there up on front. I wish Sir Dillius was here. Aliana behind Sir Dillius in the Star Thoroughbreds colours, and Via Sistina getting to the outside. Now, of course, this also produces the Caulfield Cup winner. So the form out of this is held up well. But here you're thinking, geez, Antino's going to kick. Here's Dillius, and Via was just winding up. And I thought Aliana was good, but she wanted clear running, which is maybe why they chose barrier 8.
Yeah, I thought she hit a real flat spot here as we're watching, and I thought, oh, she's absolutely gone. She was just plodding. But her last 50 was really strong. It was a lovely Caulfield Cup trial, but they didn't go there. So she might be looking for a little bit further. I thought Antino was pretty good. I mean, he covered more ground than anything else in the race. I know they didn't break any records, but I thought it was a good effort and a better run from a Cox Plate perspective from in terms of comparing it with Aliana's. And Via Sistina got to the outside in plenty of time. Home okay, but it wasn't the Via Sistina that we've seen previously. Pass mark. Yeah. But yeah, nowhere near as dynamic as she has been.
So point out, I was at track work on Tuesday morning, and I'm not going to say how a horse galloped. I will just say that Aliana looked to get around the track very well. Obviously, V has been there and won there before, but I thought Aliana cornered very well, so there's no issues to her going to the Valley for the first time. Here's the might and power where Globe just led, jogged, dictated. I probably could have run 4th in this if I decided to put on the joggers myself. Treasure the moment is the story out of this. She was poor.
Yep, she was very underwhelming. It was a similar sort of race to the Fian, but it was a touch below that effort in terms of what we saw from her. Thought Buckaroo was similar to Treasure the Moment, but sit and sprint certainly not his go. He needs He needs something to go with Globe early, or at least a bit of a mid-race attack for him to be a feature. And Globe, look, yes, he controlled it from the front, but he did absorb a bit of pressure there around the home turn, and he kicked quite strongly. I mean, surely we see something.
It's a Cox Plate.
Yeah, it's a Cox Plate. They won't let him get away with murder, surely.
And here's the final of the replay. Same day, Nepotism is back near last on the fence in the Neil Werrett colours. So the green cap with the yellow armbands there, so you can't see the starts on the colours. But he's travelling well here, and you just want him to get to the outside, but he's got Woden out there who's just going absolutely nowhere. So the jockey has to go back to the fence and just look to finish up the inside. It does give the indication of a horse that looks like he wants 2,000. Like he's still not off the bridle here. He hasn't really been let go. This run is better than it looks the more that you go back.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's a little bit inconclusive, but yeah, it certainly looked like he had a little bit more to offer there going past the post. It's just he needs to have a little bit of tactical speed to be competitive in a race like the Cox Plate. So if he's back there in the Cox Plate, he's got absolutely none. So the first 100 will be very important for Nepotism.
All right, let's go through these one by one, where we do start off with number 1, who is a light infantryman, draws Gate 9 for Ethan Brown. Could he be the fly in the ointment, the horse that rolls forward?
I don't think so, no.
Trying to come up with something.
Yeah, I guess silver lining. Autumn form was excellent. He won the Group 1 Australian Cup over this trip.
Yep.
But he hasn't really fired a shot in 3 runs this prep. And if you look at the horses that beat him home last start, that's a long way from the Cox Plate winning form. So I just don't think he's going well enough.
So, we're not showing the Hill Stakes because, it's the Hill Stakes. Number 2, Antino. Looks set to peak. We've been waiting for the magical mid-race move, or Blake Shin cranking it up from the 800. All preparation down the side at the Valley. Grand final day this Saturday.
I think we'll see it. I really do. Barrier 6, Shin will let things unfold early, but I really do think an early move around the field is definitely on the cards. Apply the blowtorch to Globe. 2 runs at the Valley have been just okay, but both over a mile. If you look at his 2 runs over 2,000, I thought he was the best of the Cox Plate brigade in the Turnbull, and the Doomben Cup win, that was outrageously good. So, yeah, he looks the obvious danger to the defending champ.
Number 3, Attrition, also comes out of that last start Hill Stakes, and he was good there. He went forward on a hot speed and beat Orbar Lindemann, who looks a good thing on Saturday in a race at Randwick as well.
Yeah, much better there, stepping up to 1,900. He was left gasping for air in the Fian before that, over 1,600. This is obviously much harder than last start, but he has run some really nice races at the Valley. And look, Barrier 2, there's a chance Willow just hunts the rail. And
100%.
This horse could get into, trifectas and first fours to add a bit of spice there.
Well, he went forward the other day, so I think Willow in a horse's like grand final Cox Plate, he's not going to die wondering, as we know he does. So I reckon he'll go forward too. Number 4, Buckaroo, Barrier 4. He's drawn to get a really good run. He's been building like he wants 2,400 all prep.
Yeah, I agree with that. He was similar to Allian. I thought maybe the Caulfield Cup was his race.
Might be off to Hong Kong.
Yeah, potentially. The Underwood run was a cracker at the time. It's been a strangely poor form race outside of the winner. Golden Path and Moira were both awful at their next starts. Desert Lightning, Land Legend, and Zardozi have all flopped since too. So there's not a lot of form out of that race. But as I mentioned from the top when we're talking about the speed map, I think it all comes down to tempo with Buckaroo. He needs this to be sort of a last man standing type of affair in order to be able to mix it with Via Sistina and company.
Number 5, Globe. Late entry. They've paid $200,000 to get into the field. Ben Mellum from Barrier 7. I bet if you said to me at the start of April when he got rolled in a Victoria Handicap, this horse will win a Group 1 and run in the Caulfield Cup, you would have given me $1 million to 1.
He also got rolled
by
by bloody Charterhouse too back. I had him as the last leg of a few multis and in the quaddie, but anyway.
And then wins the Caulfield Stakes at his next start. How good's the game?
I've clearly moved on from that. Look, does look the leader, does look to get a soft time in the early stages of the race, but I do think we will see an early move from Shin on Antino. And if that does happen, I can't see Globe being able to withstand that sort of pressure in a Cox Plate. So, look, he could easily pinch a place if he's left alone. I just don't think he will be.
We go to Via Sistina, the next one here on the lineup, number 6. So she's had her last 7 runs over 2,000 metres. She's won the Turnbull, the Cox Plate, the McKinnon, the Ranvet, the Queen Elizabeth, and ran 3rd in the Turnbull. So clearly 2,000 metres is her go. This is her grand final. She didn't run 3 laps on Tuesday, which had her ready to peak last year when she broke the track record and J-Mac stood up at the 100. She looks like she's been a length off all prep.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I don't think she's going quite as well this time in as she was last spring. But in saying that, her form isn't vastly different. It's not that far off. So, yes, she absolutely exploded when 4th up last campaign into this race. So, look, as we've seen before, grand final trainer. She's been here, done that. J-Mac has an unbelievable recent record in this race. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we did see a spike performance because the Turnbull run was a little bit underwhelming, but maybe they were just leaving a little bit in the tank for this one, the big one.
Number 7, Treasure the Moment. 14 starts, 10 wins, 4 second-place positions. At the start of the prep, when she smashed Brightside and Buckaroo in the Memsey, we're like, how good? Can't wait to see her at the Cox Plate. Then she had a colic attack, so she's been on the back foot all the way through. She was good against Pride of Jenny, and then may have been a bit flat. If she runs to her first up number, she can win this from barrier 1.
It's a big if, though, because, she was awesome that day. But 2 runs since, obviously the colic setback was hardly ideal, and then races that haven't really been run to suit. So she's a bit of a hard one to line up. But I think barrier 1, she has drawn perfectly. That is the draw that she probably wanted, and they picked that, obviously, late in the piece. But, look, should get every possible chance on the back of Globe. And if we do see that early move from Antino, and I think Lane will have plenty of room to pop off the fence and maybe just get a nice drag into the race on the back of Antino. So I think she'll get every possible chance, just whether she's going well enough to win a Cox Plate.
Number 8, Aliana for Chris Waller, Huey Bowman. She looks like she's been building to something all preparation. 2,400 to be good, but Chris Waller is very hesitant to run these 4-year-olds over at 2,400 in a Caulfield Cup. She's in form. She gets Huey Bowman, who's riding okay enough in Hong Kong at the moment. Barrier 8, though, I can't get it out of my head.
Barrier 8, as we mentioned, she'll be back in the last couple and she'll have to run past all these very good horses. Fair run in the Turnbull. I didn't think it was a flashing light run for a Cox Plate. But, look, Chris Waller, again, could explode.
Grand
4th
final.
up, Via Sistina style, like she did in the autumn when winning the Derby by a lazy 5 lengths. She's another one who I think will improve 4th up for sure. It's just the level of improvement.
And she was arguably stiff to not win the Rosehill Guineas over 2,000 metres. So she's right to go. I'm not going to doubt Chris Waller in a grand final. And number 9, the 3-year-old Nepotism, adding some spice into this race with 49.5 kilos. In the autumn, after he won the Champagne, I think everyone was thinking, this is your Caulfield Guineas winner. He'll probably run in the Cox Plate as well. So it's good to see him here. He looks like 2,000 metres will suit. And Zach Lloyd's had a ride in the Cox Plate in a 3-year-old previously. He admitted he stuffed it up. He's going to be out to right that wrong here. Yeah,
I enjoyed that honesty from him during the week. Should be more of it. Good autumn 3-year-old. We haven't seen that level of performance this spring. Barrier 3 helps, but as I mentioned before, he's never settled in the first half of proceedings in any of his races. Much lower intensity races than what he's going to see on Saturday. So, yes, look, no weight on his back. If he could jump and run in the first 3, he'd be a sneaky place chance, but I'm just not sure he's capable of doing that.
Would have loved to have seen like a set of winkers go onto him or something just to try and sharpen him up a little bit early. But anyway, that's probably also why I'm not a trainer. Lammy, give us your top 4, and then I'm going to give you $100 theoretical dollars to spend on the World Pool this weekend. And what's your betting plan with that $100?
Playing a fairly straight bat. It's a little bit boring, I know, but I can't go past the champ Via Sistina on what we saw last year. It's hard to get that performance out of your head when you're looking at what looks to be a similar race, similar field. Antino for 2nd, Treasure the Moment for 3rd. And I've got attrition, chucked him in for 4th, just for those who want to play trifectas and first 4s. And $100 on Via Sistina will be my betting play in this race. So, playing definitely in the V, just a very straight bat.
Just knock one through the covers, get ready.
I got a bit funky trying to take on Kaying Rising with my betting strategy last week, and that backfired, so...
Yeah, fair enough. All right. So backing Via Sistina with the World Pool there. So we do have a couple of other races that we're going to take a look at through the afternoon. Of course, all 10 races this Saturday at Moonee Valley will be a part of the World Pool. Bet with the World with the Hong Kong Jockey Club and the World Pool. Race number 2 is where you do want to have a bet, Lammy. It is the World Pool Red Anchor Stakes. It's a 1,200-metre event for the 3-year-olds. It's a Group 3. What are we looking at here?
It's a handy little race. There's a stack of winning form, and there's not a whole lot of crossover with horses coming from everywhere. New South Wales, SA, really good SA form. But yeah, I thought Snow Mercy certainly did enough last start. It was a somewhat lucky winner, a couple of hard luck stories in behind, but it's turned out to be a really hot race. Point Barrow came out and won very impressively at Caulfield. And Vain Girl also went to that race, finished fourth after probably going a little bit too quick in front there. So the form's really stacked up. She's drawn well in barrier 4, and that Valley experience no doubt helps in a race where plenty of these are seeing this circuit for the first time.
I might have something on Prince Tycoon myself. I know he was talked
up. A boom horse after that debut win.
Yeah, and he won like a good horse. He had no idea what he was doing. I think the trial's been good and he gets D-lane, so he's something I want to have something on. Next one is a race number 4, which is the Phillies Classic over 1,600 metres. Sometimes used as a lead up to the Oaks. Now it's sort of lost in the shuffle of many of the races that we have, but it's a Group 2 for the Phillies.
Yeah, Salty Pearl, if they do go the quick backup from the 1,000 Guineas, where she ran well for 4th, was never a winning hope there. Bit of a distant 4th, but liked her last 100 there. This is much easier. Drawn to be closer in the run from barrier 4. Blinkers stay on. And 2 of her main dangers, Enviable and Sunlit Serenade, have both drawn right off the track, and they're both having their first starts at the Valley. So I thought Salty Pearl was a good bet if they do choose to back up.
The next bet you want to have is race number 8. It is the McEwen Stakes over 1,200 metres. The last start, Manicato winner Charmstone's here. She looks to be well in at the weight for age scale.
Yeah, I'm going with a horse that's terribly weighted at weight for age. So there you go. I haven't seen any odds for this race, so I'm hoping we get a bit of an each-way price for Vestas. But yeah, as I mentioned, horribly weighted, but I think she's got huge upside. First up run at the Caulfield was a cracker behind. She's bulletproof. Speed looks absolutely red hot in this, and I'm just hoping Malum can keep her out of trouble from barrier 4 and hopefully give or get the last crack at them. And as I mentioned, given the weights, she doesn't look overly well placed, but I'm just hoping we can get an each-way price because I think she will be a really good horse in the future.
She was good through the line as well in that Northwood Plume at Caulfield last start.
She's showing glimpses of definitely above average ability.
All right, that is us done and dusted for the Hold All Tickets World Pool preview for the Cox Plate. We've gone through every runner in the Cox Plate and found 3 other bets for you on the day. We will be back next week because once again, plenty of action coming your way. We do have Victoria Derby Day, and then the following week it'll be Champions Day at Flemington. So that's what's on the card for us in the coming weeks on the World Pool preview. But Lammy, thank you and good luck this weekend.
You too.
Of course, thank you to our friends at the Hong Kong Jockey Club and the World Pool. Make sure you bet with the world this weekend at Moonee Valley for Cox Plate Day. Good luck if you're having a bet, and we'll catch you next week on the World Pool preview.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.